What's up, Toron Brown, Colstrom? I was picking Rose to beat Grasso. Now she got to fight Grasso's mama. Yeah, I know. I was kind of thinking that Rose might win this fight, and now she's got to fight Natalia Silva. A fight where, in fact, she is not going to win. Like, Grasso was a way better matchup for Thug Rose than Natalia, because Grasso right now is at a point in her career where she might be plateauing. Well, she is plateauing. I don't want to say like she's physically declining because she's still very young, but I think mentally, she's lost some confidence. And when your confidence isn't there, you don't perform the same. So now is like the perfect time for, Rose to, use a former champ like Grasso as a stepping stone to get to a title shot. And now she's gotta go through Natalia. And I mean, shit, if she can actually do it, I'm gonna be very impressed. I'll be very impressed if Thug Rose can do it, but I highly doubt it. In warm Florida right now, just visiting. Nice. Where are you actually from, though? Man, but Grasso pulling out and Rose having to fight Silva is the last thing I would have expected. That was the last thing I had on my 2026 bingo list or bingo card. Like, I thought if Natalia is going to take another fight, it might end up being against Man and Furo for like a number one contender bout. And I think that fight would have made more sense for Silva than a fight with Thug Rose. But I get it. It's situational because, Alexa Grasso, who Rose was supposed to fight, got injured. And I mean, who else would they throw in there with Rose Namajunas? Am I right? I mean, they're not going to throw in Barber. She has a fight tomorrow. They're not going to throw in Aaron. Aaron just beat her, and I doubt they'd, run that back. I don't think there's a need to run that back right now. And then Manon, I don't think would step in. So maybe if like Jazz Divizius beat Manon, I can maybe see Jasmine stepping in to fight Rose. That I could actually see happening, but I guess Silva was the only option. But if she pulls this upset, then I mean, then we're gonna see her against Shevchenko, I guess, and that's gonna be like another easy win for Valentina Shevchenko if she ends up fighting Rose. Um, but that's honestly why I'm actually hoping Natalia will win. And I know this sounds crazy because I've been like a Rose fan for like a long time. So usually I would usually root for her in any other fight except for when she was supposed to fight Grasso. But I just think it's better for the division because Natalia has never fought for the belt before. Rose has had like multiple title fights. And I just don't think she has anything to offer, to the champion. I think Natalia Silva, I could be wrong, but I think she may very well be the chosen one. I mean, Grasso already beat her, but not like twice. She had to fight her again and lose. But I think Natalia might be the one who could end Valentina's reign permanently if she gets through Thug Rose. But the matchup itself, so you got two really good strikers. Rose Namajunas has more of a grappling game to her. Like she can mix in her grappling with her strikes. She'll shoot takedowns. She's got submissions. But Natalia Silva has amazing takedown defense. She's not going to be easy for Rose to take down. Even if Rose can get her down, Natalia Silva will just get back to her feet. And if Rose can't hold her down, then what is she going to do striking wise? I don't really see her boxing being very effective on Natalia Silva. I don't really see her getting off many clean strikes on Natalia Silva. And I feel like her striking is way more limited. She's got low output. And she's mainly boxing heavy. Now, she does have kicks, but her kicks are very slow. They're very labored. They're very predictable. They're poorly timed, whereas Natalia Silva has faster kicks. They're more accurate. She times them better. Now, they both cut angles. They both have very good footwork, but I just think Natalia does it better. I think everything that Rose does in the striking, I think Natalia Silva does better. And I think that's why she's going to win. But what do you guys think of Rose's chances? Does she have what it takes to pull off the upset? Because it's like she had such a winnable fight, like right in the palm of her hands. Right in the palm of her hands, and the universe just snatched it from her. They're like, nope. The MMA gods were like, the least we can do for you is Natalia Silva, kid. But I mean, you know what? Rose is like no stranger to pulling off upset. She's done it before. She can maybe do it again, but I don't know if she has another upset in her. And for Natalia Silva, I mean, this is actually a pretty good opportunity because even though she's going backwards in the rankings and she's not fighting for the belt, she's killing time and she has a chance to add another former champion and a good name to her resume because Silva has already beaten Jessica Andrade. She's already beaten Alexa Grasso. Now, if she beats Rose Namajunas, now if she beats Thug Rose, she's right, or not right there in the title picture. I mean, she is, but she'll have wins now over Jessica, Alexa, and Rose. 3 former champions. And then by the time she does fight for the title, I think she's going to have a pretty solid resume. And then no one can pose those questions like, oh, who is she beaten? You know, who has she beaten? Who is Natalia beaten? She hasn't beaten anyone good. Like, you can't say that if, she beats Rose. But it's still such a bummer though that Grasso Rose is not happening now because that fight was the perfect fight for both ladies. Neither woman really had anything to lose. I mean, Grasso did because if she would lose, she's losing a third in a row, but who she's losing to would make it tolerable. She'd be losing to Rose, someone else I like. It'd be a legend beating another legend. Where now with Rose in this fight, it's like if she loses, it's a legend basically losing to like an up and comer. And those circumstances are just never ideal. Like, Rose has had a frustrating string of fight cancellations. She was supposed to fight Barber, a fight that meant something. A chance to avenge her entire team. And then was supposed to fight Alexa Grasso. But now let's venture to a different topic. I wanted to talk about Amanda Nunes versus Kayla Harrison. I've been thinking about this fight a lot. And honestly, guys, like, I cannot help but feel like Amanda Nunes is going to win this fight. Like, I think Nunes might actually go out there and stop Kayla Harrison. Like, I get it. There's the factors that, Amanda hasn't fought in like 3 years. We don't know how good she's going to look coming off this layoff. What if she's washed up? And then you combine that with the fact that Kayla Harrison stylistically is a tough matchup because she's big, she's strong, she's a dominant grappler. I mean, judo is her base, but she is ultimately a really good wrestler. And this will be the first time in a while where Nunes will fight someone that she can't physically overpower, that she's not going to have the ultimate grappling advantage over. And that is why you may actually pick Kayla Harrison. She might be another Kat Zingano to Amanda Nunes. But obviously what happened to Nunes with Kat was like 11 years ago. Amanda Nunes is way better. And we've seen so many other legends retire and then come back and still look flawless. Except for Henry Cejudo, and maybe Nunes will have a Cejudo moment. But look at John Jones. John Jones, was having a rough string of unimpressive performances towards the end of his light heavyweight run. And then took 3 years off, and then they gave him Cyril Gane afterwards for his comeback fight off a 3-year layoff for the vacant heavyweight belt. And he goes out there and he has a vintage John Jones performance and an easy first round finish. And no one does that to Cyril Gane. Francis Ngannou couldn't get him out of there. The fight with Aspinall and Gane, I mean, who knows what would have happened beyond the eye poke, but that fight at least went 4 minutes. It went beyond, it was about to go past the first round. Tom was not getting him out of there quick. That is how tough Cyril Gane is. And Jones went out there and made it look easy. George St. Pierre came back after 4 years and became a 2-division champion. So I would not be surprised if Amanda Nunes' comeback actually goes successful. Like, it's possible she could be rusty, but I feel like Nunes wouldn't just come back for a paycheck like some are saying. I feel like she wouldn't come back if she wasn't feeling good. I think Nunes, she trusts her body. She trusts how she feels in the gym. So I think that's why she's giving herself a chance to come back. And this was the fight that was going to motivate her into coming back, and that would bring the best out of Amanda Nunes. But why I am starting to lean towards Nunes, it's not official, but why I think Amanda might actually win this fight is, for one, Kayla Harrison has never fought anyone as powerful as Amanda, anyone who hits as hard as Nunes. Nunes is a way better striker, okay? And even though I mentioned Kayla Harrison's physicality, Amanda Nunes is also physical. Amanda Nunes will also be one of the biggest opponents Kayla will have ever fought, one of the strongest opponents that Kayla will have ever fought. She'll be the most skilled opponent that Kayla Harrison will have ever gone up against, right? And also, Kayla Harrison, her kryptonite are big, strong Brazilians, okay? She had 3 fights with Pacheco, lost the third one. She lost that fight mainly to the game of attrition because she gassed out over 5 and Pacheco eventually took over. And if it was a 3-rounder, Harrison might have won that. And it was very close, but still, she loses that. She ducked Cyborg because she knew that was a horrible matchup for herself. And then even against Ketlin Vieira, she won. She beat Ketlin, but that was one of her toughest fights. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Vieira break her nose, or she did some kind of damage? Like, she made her nose bleed, which if she just made her nose bleed, that's not saying much if she didn't break the nose, but she really struggled in that fight. she really struggled in that fight with Ketlin Vieira. And Amanda Nunes is way better than Ketlin, even off of 3 years, right? And Amanda Nunes, I think she has the reach advantage, I'm going to assume, right? And Amanda Nunes is very good at using her reach to her advantage. She's got solid distance management. And if she's able to create that space and keep that distance between herself and Kayla where she can see the takedowns coming, to where she can see the shots coming, like, I don't know, Kayla Harrison, I just feel like if Kayla has a hard time timing her entries, that's what I'm trying to say, then she might not be able to get a takedown. And if she can't, she has to face the striking of Amanda. And I feel like she might fold the longer they stay standing. Okay. I can just picture Amanda Nunes, okay, coming out like a bat out of hell, walking down Kayla Harrison, hitting her with that teep kick to the gut, pumping that jab in her face, keeping that distance, using that length, not letting Kayla get close. And if Kayla has any kind of sloppy entry, Nunes can punish her, trying to close the distance and clinch, right? But I just see Nunes walking her down, piecing her up, tagging her up with big shots, Kayla not being able to effectively get in to get her takedowns, and she just gets overwhelmed by Amanda's power and TKO'd. I see that happening. I could be wrong. Maybe Kayla goes out there and just strength mogs Amanda Nunes, takes her down, ragdolls her, beats her up on the ground. That could happen. Like right now, I view this as a 50-50 matchup. But I just keep picturing scenarios where Amanda Nunes is the winner, where she busts up Kayla with calf kicks, pokes her with teep kicks to the gut, busts her up with jabs, stings her with that straight cross down the middle. And then I could honestly see Kayla shooting a sloppy takedown, but because she's going to be rocked, I could see her ending up on her back and getting finished via ground and pound TKO. Like I can visualize a Pereira versus Ankalaev 2 style of finish in this fight between Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison. And Amanda Nunes has very solid takedown defense as well. She's not an easy person to take down. Very physically strong, good clinch strength, good takedown defense. And Amanda Nunes is also very good at punishing takedown attempts with knees. Like, look at what she did with Miesha Tate. When Miesha Tate was trying to grab up the legs and shoot for doubles, Amanda Nunes would knee her in the face. And I think that might have been what broke Miesha's nose. And even with Raquel Pennington, too, she kept kneeing her every time Raquel was trying to grab her legs for a double. Amanda Nunes would just punish her with knees to the face. So that is something that Kayla Harrison's going to have to watch out for. Like, there is a chance that Nunes goes out there, makes herself almost impossible to get a hold of, and just lets the hands fly. And Kayla just kind of gets overwhelmed and kind of shuts down mentally. Like, people crap on Pena a lot, but Juliana Pena, one thing she has that Kayla doesn't have is grit. Okay. Juliana has a granite chin. Okay. Very durable. And she had that ability to sit down in the pocket and trade with Amanda Nunes and tag Amanda Nunes and actually out-brawl her and wear her down by just staying in the fire, hitting back and not going anywhere. That's why Nunes lost the first fight, because Nunes tried to bully Pena and it didn't work. Pena could take the shots, wouldn't go down. And then eventually Nunes just got frustrated, gassed out, and then got finished, right? I don't think Harrison has the ability to do that. I don't think Kayla has the ability to fight back when Amanda gets going, when Amanda gets in her striking rhythm. If Amanda wants to go balls to the wall against Harrison, she absolutely can do that. And Kayla's only response will be not hit back, but try to grab her and avoid more damage. That's going to be her only response. The least she might try to do is maybe jab, but I don't even think that's going to work. And that's why, okay, when Amanda fought Pena again, she switched from a reckless brawler to a more patient counter striker and sniper, where she's not overexerting herself trying to look for the knockout. Right? But against Kayla, I don't think she has to take that same approach. And Amanda Nunes, she has that greatness factor to her. Okay, she's got that confidence, that experience, and that high fight IQ. Like, this is not her first rodeo. So if anyone right now is beating Kayla, it is Amanda Nunes. And do not be surprised if Nunes becomes a 3-time champion. Now, I might make like a follow-up video on this. I'm not gonna say further on this fight. You know, I might wrap up this topic and talk about UFC 323. This might be one of my shorter lives tonight, guys. But yeah, I think we might be seeing a new champion. We might be in a system reset. Like, I honestly think 2026 is going to bring us 2 3-time champions: Zhang Weili in the strawweight division and Amanda Nunes in the women's bantamweight division. All right. Hold on. So tomorrow night we have UFC 323, which is the final card of the year. They're not the final card, but like the final ever pay-per-view, and final pay-per-view ever, because now Paramount, we're only getting numbered events. We don't actually have to pay for anything anymore, which is nice. And these cards are going to start 1 hour earlier. So I'm kind of thankful for that. But honestly, I do kind of miss, or I will miss, the ESPN era. But I'm very interested to see what the Paramount era has to offer, what it's going to bring. Hold on. What the hell? Oh, there it is. Okay, wait, hold on. I'm trying to find that tab that I was on. Wait, hold up. Hold on, I can't find that tab for some reason. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna try to fix this. Okay, that's fucking stupid. Okay, anyway. All right, I just had to create a new tab. I don't know what the hell happened there, but yeah, so we're on our final pay-per-view of the year, final pay-per-view ever, and final ever ESPN card. And honestly, I don't really know how I feel about this card because I'm not that excited. I'm really not that excited. I'm not that excited for UFC 323, honestly. Like, I'm not really excited for the rematch between Merab and Piotr Yan. Because I just feel like I already know what's gonna happen. Like, it's obvious that, you know, Peter Yan is gonna get just ran through and most likely dominated. I mean, who knows? Maybe Yan could pull off the upset. Anything is possible, right? But I don't see how Jan wins. He already got dominated so badly last time. Had nothing for Merab. Got 50-45'd. And tomorrow, I don't really see what changes because with Peter Yan's style, Jan is a guy who relies on winning the game of attrition, likes to download the data to figure out his plan of attack, but that just doesn't work on Merab. You're not beating a cardio machine like Merab via attrition, and a guy with Merab's pressure and pace, there is no room to download the data. So we'll see. I mean, Peter does have the takedown defense to maybe nullify the wrestling. I mean, he was able to defend a lot of takedowns last time, but he wasn't able to capitalize or work his striking, and that's because Merab just kept touching him up and kept hitting him. So we'll see how Jan is able to adjust tomorrow, but I just don't see much changing. Maybe a more competitive fight, but I don't know. And then Pantoja versus Van. This one's interesting because Pantoja is fighting someone born in the 2000s. This is the first ever kid from the 2000s, my era, fighting for the belt. So that's why I'm actually rooting for Van. Like, I hope he wins because that's 2000s represent. He's born in 2001. I was born in 2000. That would be so nice to see someone around my age become a UFC champion. But I just don't know if that's going to happen, man. Pantoja has been so dominant, man. He's just a hard guy to beat. Great everywhere. Good on the feet. He can brawl, he can throw down, he can hurt you with his hands, but he could take you down, dominate you on the ground, submit you, granite chin, good over 5 rounds, a lot of experience. I just don't think it's Joshua Van's time. So I'm not picking him to win, but I'm totally backing him. And I mean, the card itself, like, it does look good. There's a lot of good names here, like Henry Cejudo, which could be his final ever fight. Moreno versus Tyra. Jan is back. It's a good main card, and the prelims are pretty good as well. Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan. Macy Barber's back. These are good fights, right? Jalen Turner coming out of retirement fighting Edson Barboza. Like, this is actually a good card. I just don't know if it's like worth going to a bar for. So yeah, I'm not actually sure what's going to happen. Let's talk about UFC 324, Gaethje versus Pimblett fight. Yeah, let's talk about it. Who do you think is going to win that fight? Paddy Pimblett or Justin Gaethje? For me, I'm leaning towards Paddy Pimblett. And I know a lot of people don't like Paddy, but I just feel like he's very underrated. He gets better every single fight. He's not outgunned on the feet, and he's way better than Gaethje on the ground. And I feel like all it takes for Pimblett is a single takedown or a single moment for Gaethje to slip, fall over himself, end up on the ground, or a single scramble, and then that's a wrap. Pimblett catches him in a sub. And Pimblett has like a very like awkward style as well, too. A very awkward style. I could just see him Dricus maxing his way to a win. I'm going with Gaethje for the upset. I could see it. Like, Gaethje could win. Gaethje has a lot of power. Gaethje is dangerous inside the pocket. Pimblett is a guy who prefers not to brawl, and he definitely does not want to throw down with Gaethje. The leg kicks are always there. Gaethje may not be the easiest guy to take down if Pimblett tries. And if Gaethje can force a brawl, Gaethje could absolutely win. Like, I'm not underestimating Justin, but I feel like it's Paddy Pimblett's time. You know, Gaethje has like had enough title shots, and it's rare that we see a 2X interim champion. And each time we see Paddy, he just reaches a different level every time. And I see this version of Pimblett, who's going to fight for the belt, being an even better version of himself. And Paddy's the kind of guy who will fight to the level of his opponents. That's what he does. He fights to the level of his opponents. Like, if he's fighting a Tony Ferguson who's washed, he kind of fights to that level, if that makes sense. But if he's stepping it up in competition and fighting Bobby Green, he elevates to the next level. Michael Chandler, even though he's washed up in 2-5 in the UFC, that's still a really big name. And on paper, that was supposed to be one of Pimblett's worst matchups because Chandler is explosive, powerful, good wrestling, good ground game. He had all the recipes to be the guy to beat Pimblett, right? But Paddy in that fight, he looked better than we've ever seen him. And I think one thing about Paddy that's improving is he's less stuck in the mud. His footwork is way better now than it used to be. He manages distance better than he used to. His striking defense is way better. He's less open to getting hit. And he's got very versatile striking. Yeah, that's true. He was a big name. But this fight for Pimblett, that is the fight that's going to solidify, I guess, how good Paddy is. Like, if Paddy wins this fight, he is officially legit because Gaethje will be a better win than Bobby Green, better win than Iron Michael Chandler, better win than Tony Ferguson because Gaethje's not on a losing streak. He's not fully in his prime, but he's not really washed up either. I wouldn't put him in the class of the washed. So if he manages to actually get a win over Gaethje, then people got to stop doubting Paddy the Baddy. But if Gaethje wins, like, it's going to be interesting because then he has a date lined up with Ilia Topuria, which, I mean, I don't see him beating Ilia. But, I mean, imagine Topuria vacates the belt and Gaethje's the interim champ and then becomes undisputed. That would be insane. And that would be a good way for Gaethje to end his career. Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of funny, but then Gaethje's just going to end up being a two-time interim champ just to never be the undisputed champ. And I mean, what kind of legacy would that be? The guy who could reach interim goal, but never the official thing. Because he's not going to beat Ilia Topuria. And also, the crappy thing about this situation is poor Arman Tsarukyan. He gets delayed. He doesn't get a chance to fight for the belt. And I want Arman to get a title shot so badly. What if Gaethje beats Topuria? I mean, if he beats Topuria, then that will be one of the biggest upsets we'll ever see in 2026. Because I know Ilya's going to be a huge favorite to win that fight. Everyone's going to count out Justin Gaethje. So if Gaethje actually gets it done, then yeah, Gaethje might be a contender for upset of the year. That's what I think. And any negative criticism I may have had towards Justin, I'll take that right back if he beats Ilya. UFC is protecting Topuria from Arman. They know that's a bad matchup. Yep. And I think that fight's never going to happen. And I think Arman will be champion, but without beating Ilya. It's going to be a Jones-Aspinall type of situation. I think what we're going to see happen is Ilya will vacate his belt in 2026. And Arman Tsarukyan is going to fight for the vacant title. I think Ilya will probably fight the winner of Gaethje Pimblett, win, and then try to go to welterweight if Islam still has the belt, and then vacate. And then what we're going to see is a fight between, Arman Tsarukyan will fight somebody for the vacant belt and win. Because I think Arman, well, I don't know if he's actually the second best because of Max Holloway. He might fight the winner of Holloway Oliveira too for the vacant belt. It's going to be my prediction. But that's right. I forgot about Max and Oliveira. Because then the UFC, they're definitely going to choose the winner of that fight to fight for the belt, actually. If Ilya stays, Arman, oh my God, I don't know what they're going to do with Tsarukyan, man. If my prediction is wrong, Arman might have to fight Benoit Saint-Denis, which is an easy win. He'd destroy Benoit Saint-Denis, but it just feels like such a waste of excuse me. Feels like such a waste of time for Arman Tsarukyan, you know? Like, he's so dominant with his style. He's like going through everybody. He deserves a chance to fight for the belt. And he was supposed to fight for the belt last year. or this year. And I get he pulled out with a back injury like last minute, but come on, man. Armin's only ever pulled out one time in his career. Once in his career. Why do we got to punish him and make him never fight for the title again? Holloway versus Armin is very interesting. It actually is very interesting. Low key, because I think they're kind of bad matchups for each other. And I think they both kind of cancel each other out in ways because Max Holloway has very solid takedown defense, hard to take down, hard to keep down. I think he's got better cardio over 5 rounds than Arman. He can beat him at the battle of attrition. He's a way better striker than Arman. So if Arman Tsarukyan is not able to fully control Holloway or dominate him on the ground and is struggling to get his takedowns and can't get an early finish, and this fight sees the 4th and 5th, Arman might be cooked. Like, I can see Holloway maybe struggling early, but building momentum as the fight goes on by rounds 3, 4, and 5 and winning a decision. But Holloway could also get a late finish against Tsarukyan as well. But at the same time, I mean, what wrestlers has Holloway really beat? He fought Lamas, who is a good wrestler in his prime, but Lamas is smaller than Holloway. Frankie Edgar's smaller, washed up. Arman Tsarukyan is big, physically imposing, strong. So there is a great chance he could just go out there, take Holloway down, and just smash him on the ground. That fight is as 50-50 as a 50-50 fight can get. Oh, and you know what? They were going to do Holloway versus Oliveira 2 as the main event for 324, which pisses me off they had to freaking pivot. They could have just ended up doing Max Holloway versus Paddy Pimblett instead. I actually would have been more happy with that fight because I think Holloway deserves it more than Justin Gaethje. Or they could have maybe just done Arman Tsarukyan versus Pimblett. But again, I get it. They're punishing Arman. Arman can crack on the feet, so I wouldn't be shocked if he clipped Holloway standing. Yeah, but Gaethje couldn't crack him. Well, he did, but he's not as good of a striker as Justin. I don't think Arman's power is really that big of a threat to Max Holloway as Ilya's was. But you're right. Arman Tsarukyan does hit pretty hard, but on the feet, that's Holloway all day. Now check this. Speaking of interim title fights and vacant belts, have you guys heard about this? Have you guys heard that Alex Pereira might move up and fight Cyril Gane for the interim title? This is what I saw on Instagram. UFC predicted to book Alex Pereira interim title after Aspinall's medical update. It's not going to be Tom if Tom's not ready to train. Thompson said regarding the heavyweight title fight. So I think they're going to do is I really believe, or let me read that again. So I think what they're going to do, I really believe that it would be Alex versus Gane. There is also video footage, recent footage of Alex Pereira sparring a heavyweight. He added, with Tom Aspinall not willing to fight, Alex steps in and saves the day. Could you imagine if that ends up actually being a reality? Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane. Alex Pereira has a chance to do something that's never been done before, winning a belt in 3 different weight classes. And imagine if Pereira beats Cyril Gane, then that sets him up to fight Tom. And imagine he beats Tom Aspinall, which honestly, it's not impossible. That would be freaking huge. But it would kind of suck if Gane lost because then we don't get closure between Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane. I don't think that's accurate because Holloway is still injured and he's confirmed that he would be coming back around April or March. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I that actually makes sense. I actually do kind of remember Holloway saying that he might not be back till around that timeline. And by that point, yeah, I think we're going to see him fight Oliveira. But Cyril Gane versus Alex Pereira, how does that fight go? Because you got two high-level strikers. I think Cyril Gane is slicker with his defense, a lot harder to hit than Alex Pereira. I think he's got a little more volume to his striking. I also think when it comes to grappling, I know Alex has like improved his ability to like defend takedowns as shown against Ankalaev, but Cyril Gane defensively doesn't really have the greatest grappling, but offensively he's not horrible. Like Gane can shoot takedowns, get takedowns. He's good at stalling in the clinch, landing shots from within the clinch. He does have a submission game. But when it comes down to the striking, Cyril Gane is very slippery, very hard to hit. And I could just see him frustrating Alex Pereira. But I will say, all it takes from Poatan is one shot. And imagine Pereira at heavyweight, the kind of power he's going to pack at freaking heavyweight. If he lands on Gane's chin once, Gane is going to sleep. But I said the same thing about Francis. And Francis wasn't able to touch him once and needed to grapple to win. And I don't know if Pereira could take that approach. I don't know if he could mix it up and out grapple Cyril Gane. And Cyril Gane has improved since then. Now, Pereira does have the calf kicks he can maybe use to slow down Gane's movement. But I would not be surprised if Cyril Gane won this fight. I feel like this fight could go either way. Funny how people said Jones was ducking Tom because they want to shit on because the MMA. Hold on, I'm mixing up comments. Funny how people said Jones was ducking Tom because they didn't have the same energy for Topuria, who's ducking Armin. They talking about the two situations are different. How so? Okay, I didn't quite get that comment. But I mean, actually, both situations are very similar, though. Ilya and John Jones. I mean, Ilya is John Jones maxing right now, and Armin Sarukian is Tom Aspinall in this situation. The MMA community picks and chooses who they want to shit on. If people want to call John a duck, they have to say the same about Topuria. Yep, I actually totally 100% agree with you on that. 100%. Like, I know what you mean when it comes to fans and like their double standards. It actually is really frustrating. Like, for example, people will crap on Kamaru Usman's resume as a former champion. Like, oh, he only beat Masvidal at the time, who was a bum, a journeyman. He only beat Colby twice, who was overrated, so he's not that good. Oh, Burns sucks. So not a good win for Usman. But then when it comes to Alexandre Pantoja, who's fighting tomorrow, I think Pantoja has an overrated resume. I think I don't want to say his resume is overrated, but as a champion, his resume is not good. Pantoja, his only two good championship wins are against the Brandons, Royval and Moreno. Urseg, not a good win, and he arguably lost that fight. Kai Azakura never had a UFC fight before then, wasn't dominant outside the UFC. And then Kai Kara France also has double-digit losses like Jorge Masvidal, also didn't deserve a title shot like Jorge Masvidal. Pantoja nearly has the same amount of defenses that Usman had, but where is the criticism for Pantoja? Why do people say Pantoja is above Mighty Mouse on the GOAT list at flyweight, but they won't give Usman the same credit? It's double standards. And I don't think Pantoja is anywhere near close to being above Mighty Mouse. And casuals will say, oh, Demetrius Johnson, he only beat bums. Okay. Was Henry Cejudo a bum? Was Kyuji Horiguchi a bum? Was John Dotson at flyweight a bum? I don't think so. Was Ali Bagatinov one of the earlier waves of Dagestani wrestlers who was on steroids a bum? I don't think so. Was Joseph Benavidez twice a bum? I don't think so. I think that's 10 times the resume that Pantoja has. But fans just have their double standards. So you're right. when a fighter in men's MMA gets lucky, they get more credit and forgiveness, but when a fighter in women's MMA gets lucky, it gets called out more. And that is the frustrating thing with MMA fans. All right, but I gotta wrap this live up because I'm kind of busy this afternoon. But I'll definitely do like a follow-up stream. I think I'll do a stream maybe like on Sunday or Monday, and I'll just kind of recap everything that happened at UFC 323. But yeah, see y'all later.